Hey guys, and welcome to the dating game with Troy Francis. Myself, Troy Francis, dating coach for over a decade. 6 red flags for women to look out for when they are dating a new guy. Number 1, he is always on his phone. This is never a good thing. Okay, if he seems continually distracted, if he's flipping through different apps, if he seems to be messaging people, particularly when you're sitting there, okay, but even if it's when he's going to the bar or he's heading over to the restroom or whatever it is, not a particularly great sign because the likelihood is he has other options and he is dealing with them as he is dealing with you. Listen, I have coached thousands and thousands of guys all over the world, many of them very high value guys. I know what goes on. I have these guys in my social circle as my personal friends. I know what goes on out there, okay? If he's consistently on his phone, it probably means that he has other plates, he has other women that he's seeing, and you're just another one to add to the roster, okay? So look out for that. Number 2, he disappears for long periods of time during the date. So I was actually once privy to a date. It's kind of weird situation, right? So I was out socially with a couple of girls that I know, and we went to have drinks in London. It's kind of weird setup. 2 girls I'm just like friendly with, and one of them said, "I've actually got this. I've got this date. He's gonna come." And I was like, Okay, cool, fair enough, whatever." And I was kind of talking to the other girl, and then this dude turns up and he's her date. She's met him on a dating app or whatever. And he was a bit scruffy, perfectly personable, polite, whatever, kind of tries to show interest, engaging with the group, all of that stuff. And he's talking to her. Now, it turns out as soon as he arrives, she's not really feeling it anyway. Okay, so there wasn't any huge loss here. But anyway, he's sitting as part of the group. He has a drink. He's chatting. We're all chatting, whatever. And then he says, "Oh, hang on a minute. I've just got to go and do something." And he walks out of the pub. And I'm looking out of the pub window. For you American viewers, a pub is a bar or a saloon or whatever you guys call it. I'm looking out the window and I see him talking to 2 really sketchy looking guys over the other side of the road. And then they kind of disappear off together for a while. I think, well, that's really odd. And then me and the 2 girls, we're just sitting there for the next 20 minutes talking and kind of I'm looking at my watch thinking, well, this is a bit strange. Right? Has that guy just done a runner or what's the situation here? And finally he comes back and he looks a bit disheveled and a little bit disconcerted, let's say. And he sits down and he says, "You know what happened? I just got robbed by 2 men." And I said, "Well, how come?" And he said, "Well, they pulled a knife on me." And I said, "Oh, okay. Well, why did that happen?" And he said, "Well, I tried to buy some weed, some marijuana, and these guys basically took me to a cash point and then pulled a knife and got me to take out a load of money and give it to them." I don't need to tell you ladies that that is a red flag, okay? Um, you don't want guys who are engaging in that kind of activity, but that is a sort of freak example and kind of an extreme example. Generally speaking, also you just don't if you're on a date with him, right? You want his full undivided attention, okay? At least for the duration of that date, which remember may only be 90 minutes or a couple of hours, okay? It's not this huge commitment of time. What you don't want is somebody who just disappears for long periods of time. It's sketchy, it's a bit weird. There's something kind of going on there and those kind of dudes just best avoided in my opinion. Number 3, lack of vision for his life. Okay, now this is super, super important. So, on the first date, you want to try to get a sense of him as a person. Now, in saying that, and this is, I've worked with guys for a very long time. And what I always say to guys is, you don't want this to be like a job interview where you're outlining your resume and he's outlining his resume and you guys are, it's this super logical sense of right, is this a good fit or is this not a good fit? Okay, it shouldn't be like that. But at the same time, you want to be trying to find out who he is as a person. All right, and depending on how you allocate your priorities, part of that could be resources. You know, what kind of money does he make? What kind of station is he in life? Where is he? Where does he want to go to? Does he want children? Does he not want children? Has he got property? Does he want to have property? What does he want to? All of these different things. Okay, you want to be getting a sense of that. Now, if he is if he seems uncertain about where he is in his life and what he is doing with his life right now and what his plans are for the next few years, then that is a red flag. Okay. Because either he hasn't thought about it and he's therefore immature and he's coasting and he's not really serious about making the best of things for himself and for his potential partner, you, but also he may just be a bit of an idiot and he may just be a bit of a loser. And what you want to find is a guy who is high value, right? Now we can debate around exactly what that term may mean. It may mean something slightly different to you than it does to me. But broadly speaking, we want a guy who knows where he wants to get to in life and has either got there or is on his way there. And actually, I'll even rephrase that because I don't believe anyone's ever got there. Okay, I think there's always further to get to. Okay, there's always the next frontier. So even if this is a guy who has some level of material success already, he should still be looking for that next level. Okay, he should still be challenging himself for that next goal. And if he isn't, you've got to think, well, is this the kind of dude that I really want to end up in a relationship with, right? Is this really the kind of guy I want to be with? You want somebody who demonstrates and can clearly demonstrate and articulate where they're going and how they're going to fucking get there, okay? And then it's down to you to decide, all right, do I want to be a part of this or not? Because a lot of guys will waste your time, okay? A lot of guys who are kind of losers, kind of brokies, kind of just fucking around, really. They're just looking for sex. They're just looking for casual partners. They're not looking for something serious. They're going to mess you around. They're going to waste your time. They're going to string you along. And you need to avoid that. And the best way to avoid that is by listening to what they say, really, because people will always tell you who they are. All right? People will always tell you who they are, even early on. It's just that often we choose not to listen. So listen to what he says about himself and his plans and his goals and his dreams and his vision. And not just his dreams, but actually specifically what he's doing in order to get himself to that next stage. Really listen to that and think, okay, is this something that I should hitch my wagon to or not? Okay. And if not, then good, you found out early. Okay. He may try to, and this leads on to the next point, actually. So point number 4, red flags for women to look out for in guys when dating. Red flag number 4 is he seems evasive. Okay. Now, I put this one in and it does lead on very directly from the last point because being evasive is a, a tool that men use all the time in dating, okay, in order to kind of cover over the cracks as far as what their intentions are, where they are in life, what they bring to the party, what they want from you as the woman, what they're going to give in return, all of this kind of thing. Men will do anything to remain evasive unless he's a bit of a naive idiot. Okay. Any man who has some value and has had previous success in dating and has had previous women liking him and he kind of knows the game a little bit, he's going to be somewhat evasive. Okay. He's going to hold back a little bit. Now, in many ways, that's a good thing because it's more attractive when the dude holds back than somebody who's just this super simple Simon, just puts everything out on the table and he's a bit boring. Okay. So you might find his evasiveness, the kind of air of mystery that he seeks to promote around himself, to be attractive, but you should also proceed with caution because that very evasiveness, that very lack of detail, that lack of concrete information of the kind that you're looking for about him gives him a lot of places to hide. Okay. It means that he is going to be able to get away with a lot. And the longer that he keeps the evasiveness going for, the longer he's going to keep stringing you along. And you may or may not get what you want depending on whether you're lucky or not. And evasion usually means there's something to hide. I'm not saying that he's got a wife, a secret wife and children. I'm not saying he's got another family somewhere. Not necessarily anything dramatic, but he might be trying to conceal something from you, like the fact that he's not actually looking for a serious commitment, like the fact that he's already seeing 3 other girls casually, like the fact that he's only going to be in town for 2 weeks anyway. And so this is going to be a pump and dump, right? So if you see evasiveness, be very, very wary of it. All right. And at the very least, I'm not saying just distrust somebody because they don't give you their whole life story right at the beginning. That's fine. You give them a bit of leeway. But at the very least, be aware of it and clock it. Okay. And recognize that he's being evasive. And then have a think about it and decide, okay, is there enough here for me to work with? Or is this guy a red flag in himself because I literally don't know anything about him? Number 5 in our list of 6 red flags for women to look out for in men they are dating. Somebody who is rude to the staff, okay? This one gets mentioned quite a lot, but I do think it's important because I think a guy who is disrespectful to service staff is a low value guy, right? I can't see any value in a man who disrespects staff. Then you've got to think, well, okay, if this is how he treats people he regards as being inferior to him, then how is he going to be treating me if we get into a relationship together? Particularly if he's one of these guys where you get the sense that he's quite controlling, he's got that sense of domineeringness around him. That could end up playing very badly for you, okay? And just as a general human courtesy, all right, if he's prepared to be rude to these people around him, who just because he regards them as being lower than him, that is a terrible, terrible sign, okay? And that is not somebody that you want to invest time with, because that in itself is low value behavior, okay? And number 6 of the list of red flags in men that women need to look out for, he wants to split the check. Okay. This is a red flag for a number of reasons. It's not just about money, although that might come into it a bit. Well, it comes into it a lot, because if he wants to split the check, is that because he's broke? If he's broke, do you really want to be dating a broke guy? Okay. That obviously is a question for you. Maybe you like him for other reasons, whatever, but you need to be aware of it. But it may not be that he's broke. It may be that he just feels that this is the right thing to do. And in my view, a high value man will always pay the check. Okay. Now, it's a bit different if you guys have been dating for a long time and things are a little bit more equal or whatever. Okay, there are exceptions as you get down the line, but I think at the beginning, the man should be paying for the dates. I just believe that is how it should go, okay? It is the cost for the guy of doing business in the game, all right? It doesn't mean that he expects something of you. It doesn't mean that you owe him anything. It's just a courtesy, okay? Because probably he's asked you out. He is the guy, okay? He is the one who's leading this and driving this forward. He should be the one to pay, all right? If he seeks to, particularly on an early date, like a first or a second date, or even really before you guys have come intimate, he's trying to get you to pay for stuff. That is a very, very red flag, because he's just not the sort of dude that you want to be dealing with, right? Is he really? And if you're looking for a serious relationship and you're looking for somebody who's going to provide and protect, these are not the signs of a provider or a protector. These are not the signs of somebody who's going to go out there and smash it, okay? If he's quibbling over a bill for $100, $150 or whatever, he is not the right guy for you, okay? You need to level up and you need to get somebody better than that, all right? So let's go through the red flags again. Number 1, he's always on his phone. Okay, number 2, he disappears off for long periods of time during the date. Number 3, he doesn't have clarity or vision for his life, where he wants to get to, how he's going to get there, specifically what steps he's taking, okay, or going to take in order to get the things that he wants. Number 4, he seems to be evasive, okay. Number 5, he's rude to staff and to the people around him generally. And number 6, he wants to split the check with you, okay? Any of those things or any combination of those things are red flags, and this is not a guy that you should spend time with or move forward with. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please do subscribe to the channel. Give me a like on the way out. Write your thoughts on this below. And if you want any advice or personal consultation, then email me, troy@realtroyfrancis.com, and we can discuss. See you guys again very soon. Bye-bye.